Welcome back, Rankers! Sorry, playing with a new iPhone webcam app, which is a lot of fun. I want to talk to you about a couple of things today. One of them is SEO spam. Yes, SEO companies are notorious for spam. Not this one, I might add, and not a lot of my friends in the industry, but there are quite a few. And also something odd that's going on with Yellow Pages and AdWords, which you may have seen and come across. First of all, SEO spam. What is it? Well, typically it involves backlinks. And if an SEO company comes to you and says, we're going to give you all the backlinks you can eat, 10,000 backlinks we're going to put up for you, be afraid, be very afraid, and run away very quickly. Because typically what this means is that they're going to spam the bejesus out of the web with your brand. And I've been working with one of Australia's largest companies, actually, in the last 48 hours, and blue chip, ASX listed, all those sorts of things, and they've got a SEO spam problem, essentially. And what's happened is, what it looks like anyway, is that someone has commissioned a bunch of backlinks. Someone has said, oh, we need 10,000 backlinks. And that has been subcontracted out again and again and again to the subcontinent. And we've all had these emails where you'll get an email from Pakistan or India or wherever, where they'll say, hey, we can get you lots of backlinks. And I get probably 5 a day. And someone's actually taken them up on this offer. And what happens in that situation, it can get subcontracted out and subcontracted out because the labour is so cheap. And it gets even cheaper when they start to use pieces of software like, and it's loosely called this term, but it's called data entry software. And when someone talks about data entry software, and this has been around for probably 6 or 7 years, and what they talk about is a piece of software that allows you to spam many sites within minutes. And I'm talking with some of these pieces of software, you can probably spam 50 sites within a minute with one piece of content. And even though all of these sites, and these are sites like blogs, forums, some of these directory sites, maybe some classified ad sites, and most of these sites will have some sort of security code to ensure that you're not a bot trying to submit all this stuff. But this software just gets around it because it's actually human-operated software, and the human actually has to type in the captcha code. But it just makes it really easy to do because it's all centralized. And there's a lot of there's actually an ABC forum in Australia, that's the Australian Broadcasting Commission, that is a victim of one of these pieces of software, or a target, I should say. All sorts of forums that and blogs that are targets using this sort of piece of software. And if you just go to, no, I'm not even going to tell you, because I know there'll be some SEOs or budding SEOs that will try and go and download this software and use it. And I want to stop it. A one-man campaign against comment spam. This is what comment spam looks like on a blog. Wow, some really interesting points you have written. And that was a comment on a blog post that was written months ago. And it actually has no relevance. It doesn't mention anything in the blog post. It doesn't talk about these really interesting points you've written. And that's from Mr. Fresh Direct Coupon, because that's his name right there, right? When you see what we call anchor text, and not actually a real name in their name when someone leaves a comment, that is where the link goes back to their site. So what they're trying to do is get their keywords in that link. And I'd never heard of this Fresh Direct thing before. But Fresh Direct apparently is a very well-known brand in North America. And the Fresh Direct coupon site is basically, you know, they're using the same brand. So presumably it's the same company. But it's a fairly well-known brand. And I've tweeted them this morning because they're on Twitter, and said, did you employ an SEO company to do this? What's going on here? I haven't heard back yet. But that's how spam can hurt your brand. In the age of social media, SEO spam can hurt your brand even more. And here's an example. Now, I haven't spoken to this company, and I don't know what, if any, flack they're getting from this SEO spam. But this is a large company. They're a big shipping company, multinational, publicly listed, and a fairly major brand for their industry. If you go into search on Twitter for their brand, you will find just, well, in this case, there's at least 50 tweets of spam. And these tweets are basically coming from sites that have been spammed with people using this so-called data entry software. So what that means is that these people, these SEO subcontractors or backlinking subcontractors, use this software. They put these pieces of spam with a backlink to the target client across thousands of sites. The problem is, in the age of social media, a lot of these sites, when they have a new piece of content put up on their site, it auto-tweets it. So these tweets that you're seeing here with this company's brand in it that are obviously spammy are simply coming from companies or from websites that auto-tweet a new piece of content. And because they're getting spammed, they're getting hundreds and hundreds of tweets going out into the Twitterverse with this company's brand on it. Now that's a problem, because if you value your brand, chances are there are people out there other than those that belong to the company do as well. And they might be running a search on your brand in Twitter, especially if you're a publicly listed company. They might want to find out the latest announcements, the latest news, what's going on with the business, all sorts of things. They might have a search going on your brand. When this sort of thing happens, their searches are just going to be flooded with spam around your brand. And that's going to make them pretty angry. And needless to say, it's going to reflect badly on your brand, because you're going to look scammy and shonky. So they're some of the nasty things that can happen when an SEO company says, you want 10,000 backlinks? Not a problem. If they do, run a mile. I tell you, it's not going to be good for you. You're going to be much better situated if you focus on creating great content, engaging in social media, and making sure that that content is getting out there into the blogosphere, into the Twitter sphere, into Google+, all these other places, and people are giving you backlinks because they value your content. You might only need 5 backlinks. Remember, we're not trying to beat Google here. So this notion of you need 10,000 backlinks is ludicrous. You're not trying to beat Google. You're just trying to beat the #1 spot for your particular search phrase. And to do that, you may only need 10 good quality backlinks, not 10,000. And finally today, something odd is happening at Yellow Pages. This story came to me from a staff member, Adam Miller, and he said, Jim. I said, yes. He said, I'm noticing something weird in Google AdWords with Yellow Pages. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, okay, what do you mean? He said, well, and he talks like that too. He said, well, if you go and do, say, a search on concrete cutting, you will see this URL here, concrete cutting-yellowpages.com.au, and also concut-yellowpages.com.au. Well, that's odd. And I thought, well, let's go and have a look at those URLs. And I didn't click on them today, but I did click on them yesterday. So I have cost them, I don't know how much. I don't know what how much the keyword concrete cutting costs in AdWords. Wow, I'm trying to say that fast this time of morning. It's not easy. Okay, this particular company, what's happened is this is concutvic-yellowpages.com.au. And you can see here that this just looks like a Yellow Pages page of their entry in Yellow Pages, but it's at a separate URL. Well, I would say that has questionable value from not only a user's perspective, because I've ended up at Yellow Pages, but also from the client's perspective, because there are multiple exit points here. And yes, you know, I do kick Yellow Pages a lot, but hey, they're a big target, and I know they're lovely people there, but seriously, paper directories, really? If you Google this piece of content here that is on this particular Yellow Page, the other thing is that it's duplicate content, and concutvic.com.au also has that exact same piece of content. And that may be their fault. Maybe they didn't provide Yellow Pages with a unique piece of content. But basically, Yellow Pages is more authoritative than their own site. And I can understand Yellow Pages saying that they are Google resellers, or that they are, you know, buying or doing AdWords on behalf of clients. But what I don't understand is doing AdWords and then sending them to a Yellow Pages page that's tailored for this company with multiple exit points. Why don't they just, if they're going to do it, why don't they just send the AdWords to this link here? Well, of course, I know the answer, and that is because they're trying to promote their own brand. But I would suggest, maybe a little bit cheekily, that by going down this path, they're actually getting the clients to pay for the promotion of their own brand. Look, this might work very well for some companies. I don't know any. If you do, let us know. But this isn't an isolated incident, this technique, either, because a quick dig, we can see that, you know, there's 230 domains here alone on this one IP address that Yellow Pages is doing this for. So this is quite a big push. And I think it's part of what the ad campaign was about that we saw in Australia earlier this year. A very annoying ad campaign, but therefore probably effective. Which was, the main takeaway from that ad was the phrase, "Look at me." And I went looking for that ad, and because it was all about, hey, Yellow Pages, we can get you found in the search engines, we can get your website up, all that sort of stuff. Basically changing from a paper directory to some sort of digital media agency. But if you go and do that search, "Look at me, Yellow Pages," there's an excellent blog post here, which I read a couple of weeks ago, which says that when this guy first went looking for that ad, he couldn't find it, which, irony. But since then, Yellow Pages responded to his blog post, actually, and actually then put "Look at me" in the title of their YouTube video. They're still hooked up on this branding thing that they've got to have the name of the campaign here. Marketing made easy. They should have just put "Look at me" at the start, and they would be another 2 spots up. Probably number 1, actually. But read that blog post. It's very funny. And that's what I think this is about. If you know of anybody who's using this service, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to know if they can accurately measure their cost per click, because we've got multiple clicks here before possibly they actually get a contact. What's the conversion rate? I'd be very interested if you know of anybody that's doing this and whether they're monitoring that. And that is it for today's show, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.